Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Harry Kane wants to leave Tottenham at the end of the season if Tottenham fail to qualify for the Champions League. Now earlier on this season, Harry Kane dealt Tottenham a major blow because he refused to commit his future. It says he was delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros. Now we're going to have to offer around 120 million at least to convince Tottenham to offload him. We've been in for Harry Kane for a while. He's regarded as one of the best strikers in the world because he's a prolific goal scorer. His link-up play is also good. David Einstein was talking about Harry Kane not so long ago, and he said he spoke to people in football. He says Harry Kane wants to leave Tottenham because he is unhappy. He said he's committed to Tottenham whilst he's there, but he wants to win the biggest trophies, and he's not experiencing this at Tottenham. He's won the Golden Boot a couple of times. Harry Kane has been at Tottenham for 17 years. He's been in their senior squad since 2009. He's under contract with Tottenham until 2024, and he's on around £200,000 a week. He's had quite a few loan spells before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. It said a few weeks ago that Daniel Levy had made a transfer decision regarding Harry Kane, and he said Tottenham will not sell Harry Kane to another Premier League club. Now let me delve into some news on David De Gea. So David De Gea may leave Manchester United on loan. There again, David De Gea could stay at Manchester United potentially past the summer. Some United fans think it would be a mistake by letting De Gea go. Now it recently said that De Gea had made his transfer decision. He's preparing to leave Manchester United, and it said not so long ago that we will pay off his huge contract. We've set the price for De Gea, it's 50 million. And there's 3 clubs that are chasing him. That's Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid and PSG. De Gea has like 2 years left on his current contract. He's on £375,000 a week. I reckon that De Gea has had his years at Manchester United. He's been at the club 10 years. He's made over 500 appearances in all competitions. And he's been our number 1 for a while. I reckon that De Gea's had around 8 good years out of the 10 years he's been with us, because in the last couple of years he has been a liability, reflecting on the calamitous mistakes he's made. But a few years ago he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world. De Gea has won everything domestically at the football club. There's a good chance that De Gea will go back to Spain. Main explanations is because he was born in Spain, his relatives are from Spain, his girlfriend's from Spain. He began his footballing career in Spain, and back in 2015 he was very close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine the deal never materialised. You know the news on Erling Haaland? Erling Haaland to Manchester United is off following Mini Oriola's roadshow. Now, it said not so long ago that we declined to meet Erling Haaland's agent Mini Oriola over possibly discussing a deal for Erling Haaland. Now, Erling Haaland's agent Mini Oriola and his father flew to England not so long ago to hold talks with several Premier League clubs. They've also held talks with Barcelona and Real Madrid. There's so many clubs that are in for Erling Haaland. Borussia Dortmund are demanding around 150 million. Solskjaer did say in his press conference prior to the Brighton game that he played up talk of Man United chasing Erling Haaland. He said he'll make his own mind up. Now, a few weeks ago, it said that Solskjaer kept calling Erling Haaland to persuade him to join Manchester United. Earlier on this season, Ollie came out and made an admission regarding Haaland. You know, he said he's been following his progress and he was keeping in touch with him. Back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. So Ollie Solskjaer did reveal not so long ago how impressed he was with Erling Haaland in training when he was at Mulder, but he did make an admission saying that he struggled with bad knees at Mulder. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave Erling Haaland his debut at just the age of 16 at Mulder. I can assure Haaland will leave Dortmund if Dortmund fail to qualify for the Champions League. Al Finch Haaland has spoken about his son's career and his prospects, and he's spoken about his son's transfer links to Man United before. Haaland does have a £68 million release clause, but it doesn't become active until next year. Borussia Dortmund's CEO said not so long ago that Dortmund are planning next season with Haaland. But yet he's been at Dortmund over a year. He's under contract with Dortmund till 2024 and Dortmund paid just £17 million for him. But the reasons I'd take him at Man United is because he's a good player, he's young, he's got a lot of development in him and he would assure us goals. Obviously, there's been a lot of narratives coming out regarding Ousmane Dembele recently. Now, it recently said we have been dealt a huge blow in our chase for Ousmane Dembele because Ousmane Dembele is likely to stay at Barcelona. Ronald Koeman hopes Dembele will stay at Barcelona. Apparently, Barcelona are preparing to offer him a 3-year contract. I think Ousmane Dembele's got like 15 months left on his current contract. Spanish outlet Sport said the other week that we increased our interest in Dembele and we've been monitoring his displays this season. It says we are preparing a bid and we've been talking with his representatives. I think Ousmane Dembele is valued in the £50-odd million range. Don't forget last year we wanted to get Dembele on loan with the option to buy, but our wishes didn't come true. Mundo Deportivo recently said that Liverpool have been in for him. Fabrizio Romano, who's a reliable Italian journalist and close to Man United, he said that Ousmane Dembele is set to hold contract talks with Barcelona. My element of concern about Ousmane Dembele is that he's injury prone, so in that aspect he is a liability because he's sustained quite a few injuries at Barcelona. Barcelona got him in a deal worth 135 million. They paid like £97 million up front. I liked Ousmane Dembele when he was at Borussia Dortmund. I also liked him when he was at Rennes. He's 23 years of age. Jadon Sancho to Man United is still possible in the summer transfer window, but we will have to submit an exceptional offer to sign Sancho. Borussia Dortmund have warned. Borussia Dortmund have admitted that they will sell Sancho for the right price this summer. Earlier on this season, it said we believe we can get Sancho for a cut price fee. It says we was preparing to put around the £50 million bidding. Earlier on this season, Borussia Dortmund's CEO came out and said that Sancho, Haaland and more Dortmund stars could be sold in the summer transfer window to avoid financial crisis. So reflect on that, that give us a transfer boost. But earlier on this season, it said we dropped our interest in Sancho due to the progress of Mason Greenwood. Fabrizio Romano has spoken a lot about the Sancho saga, and he recently explained Sancho's hold-up to Manchester United. But last summer, he was our number one priority target, but the main explanation we didn't get him is because we was reluctant to meet Borussia Dortmund's 108 million valuation. We was only willing to pay so much up front. But Sancho to Man United last summer was extremely close because it said the personal terms had been agreed, the agent fees had been agreed, and even a contract had been agreed. Dortmund said to us last summer that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We missed out on that deadline, so Sancho remained at Dortmund. And there has been quite a few centre-halves on our agenda. It recently said that Solskjaer drawn a 6-man centre-back shortlist. You know, we need someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. But this year's summer transfer window is massive for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Recent reports said that Man United will spend big in the summer transfer window, but Solskjaer wants to keep transfer dealings quiet. Ole did warn earlier on this season that we may not do business as usual due to the pandemic. But I've identified the areas where we need to strengthen up. I think we need a striker, we need a right winger, we need a defensive midfielder, and we also need a centre-half. The summer transfer window will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. I can assure that Solskjaer will be Man United manager in the summer transfer window, and I can assure he will be Man United manager next season, because we've said that Solskjaer will not be sacked even if we fail to win the Europa League this season. And the Europa League is our only chance of any silverware this season. Solskjaer knows how imperative it is to get his first trophy on the board as Man United manager. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. Like I say, we've got a very good chance of winning the Europa League because we're more or less now into the semi-final. I'm expecting Solskjaer to get the backing he deserves as well in the summer transfer window, because obviously Woodward is standing by him. Woodward believes that Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. He did release a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. And in general, Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ole, even when we was enduring them really bad periods. Our board have got a soft stance on Ole, with him being a club legend. I think that's what saved Solskjaer at Man United. being a club legend. Disregarding being a club legend, I can almost assure he wouldn't have been Manchester United manager now. We've got John Murtough. He's our director of football. It was the right decision by the club getting a director of football in, because I did mention that's one of the structural changes that we needed. It's our first ever director of football, by the way, and we've got Darren Fletcher. He's our technical director. He endured 2 decades as a player for Man United, so he knows the club through thick and thin. We are going to offload quite a few players in the summer transfer window, so in that aspect we'll generate money and it'll help us with our rebuilding process. Now, Edison Cavani, it looks like he's going to be leaving Man United in the summer transfer window. Solskjaer did say in his press conference building up to the game against Tottenham that he's unsure over Cavani's future. Footballer Insider recently said that Cavani is willing to take a pay cut to join Boca Juniors. Boca Juniors are willing to offer him a 3-year contract, and he has a verbal agreement with them. Not so long ago, we held talks with Edison Cavani over his future at the club. And we want to convince him to stay, but it looks like we're not going to be able to convince him to stay. Marcus Rojo, who's a former Man United player, he has had conversations with Edison Cavani over the Boca Juniors move, and Rojo recently urged Edison Cavani to quit Man United for Boca Juniors by promising to take him fishing. Ole said earlier on this season he's hopeful that Cavani will stay, and he revealed that we had been in contract negotiations with him. But prior to that, Solskjaer said that Cavani is closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Manchester United, and Edison Cavani's father come out earlier on this season and said that Cavani is unhappy, he's not comfortable in England and he wants to leave. Cavani's current contract expires at the end of the season, but we do have an option to trigger his contract for a further year. He's made an impact since he's come in. He's done well in a lot of his games as Cavani, but there's been some games where he hasn't got enough service and he's looked isolated. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. And he sustained a few injuries. A lot of United fans are saying that we need to offload Anthony Martial in the summer as well, because Martial has been out of form for the vast majority of this season. The chances in that have been there for him, but he hasn't converted them. But earlier on this season, Solskjaer backed Martial to rediscover his form, and he said that he's been impressed with his work rate. Martial's out of injury at the moment. Solskjaer said not so long ago it's likely he's going to be out for the remainder of the season. Martial sustained this injury whilst he was on international duty with France. I reckon Martial's had 2 good seasons. He was good last season and he was good in his debut season under Van Gaal. He's been at the club now over 5 years. We got him in a deal worth 54 million from Monaco. I think last season Solskjaer gave him that number 9 shirt. Juan Mata, I think there's a good chance he'll leave in the summer transfer window because he doesn't get in our 11 now. His current contract expires in June. We do have an option to trigger his contract for the further year. Towards the start of this season, Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. He's out with injury at the moment, but I reckon that Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club almost 7 years. He's made over 200 appearances in all competitions and he's scored 50 goals. We got Matter in a deal worth 40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Donny van der Beek, I think we need to get rid of him in the summer transfer window. The main explanation is because he's not getting enough opportunities at Manchester United. If he was getting enough opportunities, then I'd be saying keep Van der Beek because he is a good player. We are considering a Donny van der Beek swap deal. There's been narratives coming out saying that there could be a swap deal between Van der Beek and Adrian Rabiot. I think that would be a good swap deal, to be honest with you. Not so long ago, Donny van der Beek was out with injury. Ronald de Boer has backed Donny van der Beek to become a success at Man United. He said not so long ago that Van der Beek feels loved at the club despite his lack of game time. Earlier on this season, it said that Donny van der Beek wants to quit Man United after one season due to his lack of game time, and he wanted to hold showdown talks with Ed Woodward over his future. Solskjaer did make an admission earlier on this season saying that Donny van der Beek was unhappy because he isn't getting enough opportunities, but promised him more game time. ESPN said back in January that we rejected several loan offers for Van der Beek, but we was reluctant to let him go. We got him in a deal worth 40 million from Ajax last summer, and he is versatile because he can play in 3 different roles. But Accused was talking about Van der Beek not so long ago. Nemanja Matic, I think we need to offload him because he's not one of our first choice midfielders. Paul Pogba, he could still leave Manchester United in the summer transfer window, but there again, he could stay potentially past the summer. We've been getting the best out of Pogba in recent months. We really have. But I thought it was totally anonymous against Granada recently. Like I've said to you, I prefer Paul Pogba in more of an advanced role, like on the left-hand side, because that's where he's more effective. I'm not too keen on him in a deeper role. Recently, Pogba suffered a minor injury, but he should be okay. He was out with a thigh injury for a while. He had an ankle injury at the first part of this season, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with that ankle injury. So, sustained a few injuries now at Man United. Now, Pogba's had a long-running transfer saga, hasn't he? Now it's saying Barcelona are interested in him. It does mention the 4 Barcelona players that Man United could accept in a swap deal for Paul Pogba, and that's Ousmane Dembele, Griezmann, Lenglet and Fati. And I heard as well that Real Madrid could offer us up to 6 players for Paul Pogba because Pogba's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. PSG have been in for him before. And there's obviously been a lot of narratives of him possibly going back to Juventus. I said there's a good chance he'll go back to Juventus if he leaves us because Pogba did endure 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United. And Juventus have been keen on a Paul Pogba swap deal. Not so long ago, it said Juventus were willing to offer us Paulo Dybala in exchange for Pogba. And they was willing to offload Ramsey and Rabiot on that to get the money for Pogba. And Fabrizio Romano did mention that Juventus are refusing to give up on re-signing him. You know, we could offer Paul Pogba a new contract. But there again, we could listen to offers for him in the summer. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer said he's hopeful that Paul Pogba will stay and sign a new contract, and we had been in contract negotiations with Pogba. He's under contract with the club until June 2022 because earlier on this season we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract. Ollie said not so long ago that Paul Pogba's future lies at Manchester United. You know, as it stands at the moment, it's our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him. Phil Jones, I want him to leave because Phil Jones doesn't get in our team. He's always been inconsistent. He's been out of injury for over a year and he's the only outfield player that's still here from the Ferguson era. This is Jones' 10th season at Man United, so he's been a long servant. Romero, I think we'll offload him. We got Romero on a free from San Pandora back in 2015. I think he's like, our third or fourth choice goalkeeper now. Maxel Tuanzebe, will we offload him because he doesn't get in our 11? And Delors, we could get rid of him permanently. He's out on loan with AC Milan at the moment. There's a lot of players, though, that will stay at Man United in the summer transfer window. And there's a few players that have got long-term futures at Man United. Dean Henderson, he'll stay. I think he's got a long-term future at the club. Luke Shaw will stay. Maguire will stay. I don't know about long-term. Lindelof will stay, I think, potentially past the summer, but I don't think he's got a long-term future at Man United. I think Bay will probably stay potentially past the summer. Probably not long-term, though. Wan-Bissaka, I think he'll also stay. He's a long-term. Fred, he'll stay potentially past the summer, I think. Pogba could still stay potentially past the summer. I think McTominay will stay. Obviously, Bruno Fernandes will stay. Greenwood will definitely stay. He's got a long-term future at Man United. He's been superb since he broke into our first team squad. I think Marcus Rashford will stay as well. Amad Diallo Traore will stay. Daniel James will probably stay. Because he's got his way back into the team, Daniel James. He lost. There was one part where he lost his place in the team for a while, and at that point there was rumours of Daniel James leaving the club, wasn't there? But like I said, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he isn't the long-term manager for Manchester United. He's been Manchester United manager over 2 years. Reflecting now on he's been at the football club, he has gained some managerial experience and he has learnt quite a bit on the job. And he's tried a few different elements. Solskjaer's managed over 100 games as Manchester United manager in all competitions. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting them relegated. Don't forget, Ollie managed the Man United reserve team for a couple of years, so he did watch some of this team grow and develop. Solskjaer is our best manager since Ferguson. Yes, I've got some reservations about Ollie, but there's quite a lot of things we've got to credit him for. He has made good signings as Manchester United manager. He's spent almost £300 million. Obviously hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in as yet. He's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he's come in. I do like the way he has promoted the youth. He did well last season in his first full season, got us to 3 semi-finals, got us qualification for the Champions League and got us a third place finish. This season got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, got us to the FA Cup quarter-final. He's more or less got us to the Europa League semi-final. We was 14 games unbeaten before the Leicester game in the FA Cup quarters. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. And in general, we've enjoyed good periods under Ollie where he has got the best out of the team. And he's beaten quite a few big name managers. Ollie has beaten Jose Mourinho. He's beaten Ancelotti a few times. He's beaten Brendan Rodgers a few times. Beating Jurgen Klopp in the FA Cup. Beaten Thomas Tuchel when he was PSG manager. Also beaten Julian Nagelsmann. Beaten Pep Guardiola as well a few times. So they're the things you've got to give him credit for. But my two biggest concerns about Ollie is that he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager, and his decision making also concerns me. But Ollie knew when he'd taken over at Manchester United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. And I think he's handled things very, very well. You know, we appointed Solskjaer in December 2018, and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. The club giving the job permanently a couple of years ago, reflecting on what he did in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. But yeah, there is a lot of United fans that are still Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out. Obviously, they've got main explanations why they are Ole out. But there's still some Man United fans that are Ole in, saying that he does need more time. We know that he's already agreed a new 3-year contract worth 30 million. It's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. Does he deserve a new contract? In some aspects, yeah. In some aspects, no. But in the last 8 years, you know, nothing's changed at Manchester United. It's just been an ongoing cycle of inconsistency. You know, despite us sacking 3 managers, despite us overpaying 4 players. You know what I mean? We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, which is 8 years ago now. I think the board's been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years as well. So there you go. So anyway guys, I'll be doing another video soon. Drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.